Imagine a cage, not of iron bars, but of shimmering gold. A cage built by ambition, polished by perfection, and locked from the inside. This is the story of Elara Vance and the gilded prison she meticulously constructed for herself. Our journey begins in the hushed, sterile halls of Northwood High, an affluent institution where academic achievement wasn't just encouraged, it was the very air students breathed. Fluorescent lights hummed, casting a clinical glow on polished floors, reflecting display cases filled with the gleaming trophies of past triumphs. Here, 17-year-old Elara Vance was the embodiment of Northwood's ideal. Her appearance was flawless, her hair intricately braided or pinned in complex styles that seemed to defy gravity, always accompanied by a stack of advanced textbooks. Her outward composure was a fortress, impenetrable and perfect. But beneath this pristine facade, Elara was a maelstrom of pressure. Her high-achieving parents, the looming shadow of Ivy League applications, and an internalized terror of being anything less than exceptional pressed down on her. She saw her peers not as collaborators, but as fierce competitors in a zero-sum game. A brief, strained interaction with Liam Chen, her academic rival and former close friend, underscored her isolation. Liam, with his easy intelligence and quiet confidence, was a stark contrast to Elara's tightly wound persona. His presence was a subtle irritant, a reminder of a simpler time before the relentless pursuit of perfection consumed her. He offered a genuine, if slightly melancholic, smile, which Elara, in her paranoia, interpreted as pity or suspicion. The critical juncture arrived swiftly. A complex English literature essay, worth a significant portion of her final grade, was due tomorrow. Simultaneously, a prestigious scholarship application deadline loomed, demanding impeccable academic records. The pressure was suffocating, a vice tightening around her. Whispering, almost conspiratorial, a classmate's casual mention of a new, highly sophisticated AI writing tool capable of generating near-perfect essays initially flickered against Elara's internal moral compass. She dismissed it at first, but a late-night panic attack, fueled by exhaustion and the terror of a less-than-perfect submission, pushed her to the brink. In the dead of night, hunched over her glowing laptop in her meticulously organized room, Elara fed the AI the essay prompt. The generated response was flawless, eloquent, precisely what her English teacher expected. A cold wave of relief washed over her, immediately followed by a sharp, nauseating pang of guilt. She submitted the essay, her fingers trembling slightly. The top grade she received the following week brought a fleeting sense of triumph, quickly overshadowed by the phantom ache of her compromised integrity. The joy of success was hollowed out by the knowledge that it wasn't truly hers. This marked the beginning of her journey into systematic deception. The phantom ache intensified, manifesting as insomnia and a pervasive sense of unease. Elara felt physically ill with the weight of her secret. The pristine A on her essay felt like a brand, not an achievement. Desperate for a release, a way to purge the toxic guilt without confessing to anyone, Elara retreated to her room. She pulled out a fresh sheet of paper and a pen and began to write. She poured out every detail of her transgression. The AI, the fear, the shame. She described the essay, the feeling of the lie. She read the letter aloud to herself, her voice barely a whisper, experiencing a profound, albeit temporary, catharsis. Tears streamed down her face as she acknowledged her wrongdoing, but only to herself. With a sense of ritualistic finality, she shredded the letter into tiny pieces, then burned them in a small decorative ceramic bowl, watching the ashes drift away. She convinced herself that this act, This private acknowledgement and destruction had cleared her karma, absolved her. This ritual became her coping mechanism, her private sacrament of self-deception. It allowed her to compartmentalize her guilt, enabling her to continue down the path of academic dishonesty while maintaining the illusion of internal purity. The act of writing and destroying became a perverse form of self-forgiveness, a dangerous precedent for future transgressions. She had crossed a threshold, establishing a pattern that would define her remaining time in high school. As academic pressure mounted throughout the semester, Elara found herself resorting to cheating with increasing frequency. A glance at a neighbor's test, a hidden note, a subtly plagiarized paragraph. Each time, the guilt returned, though perhaps a little less potent than the last. Each time, the confession ritual was performed, becoming more perfunctory, less emotionally draining, but no less necessary for her psychological equilibrium. She even started keeping a specific notebook for these confessions, a morbid journal of her lies. Liam Chen, ever observant, began to notice subtle shifts in Elara's behavior and academic performance. Her answers in class were sometimes too polished, too perfect, lacking the genuine struggle he knew she used to exhibit. He saw her sudden mastery in subjects she previously found challenging. He didn't accuse, but his quiet, almost melancholic gaze lingered on her, particularly after she delivered a particularly eloquent, uncharacteristically effortless response in class. This scrutiny, unspoken but deeply felt, fueled Elara's paranoia. She started to avoid his eyes, interpreting his silence as a profound judgment. Elara secured an interview for a highly prestigious full-ride scholarship to her dream university. Her perfect grades and meticulously crafted extracurriculars had opened the door. During the interview, a panelist asked, "Ms. Vance, what does integrity mean to you? Can you give us an example of a time you demonstrated it, even when it was difficult?" Elara's carefully constructed composure almost shattered. Her mind raced, searching for a genuine example, but all she could recall were her fabricated confessions. She managed to deliver a rehearsed, eloquent answer about the importance of honesty in academic pursuits and the courage to admit mistakes, a performance so convincing it chilled her. The panelist nodded, seemingly satisfied, but Elara felt a profound internal dissonance, a chasm opening between her words and her reality. The experience left her profoundly shaken, the weight of her deception pressing down on her more heavily than ever before. The fear of exposure, fueled by Liam's subtle observations and the internal pressure from the scholarship interview, became unbearable. Elara began to actively push away her few remaining close friends. She canceled study sessions, feigning illness or other commitments. She became withdrawn in social settings, interpreting every glance, every whispered conversation as a potential sign that her secret was known or suspected. She would sit alone in the bustling school cafeteria, meticulously picking at her lunch, while her former friends laughed and chatted at a nearby table. Their camaraderie a stark contrast to her self-imposed solitude. She felt a profound ache of loneliness, but the fear of letting anyone close enough to discover her truth was stronger. The constant performance of perfection and the repetitive ritual of confession had a devastating effect on Elara's internal landscape. She could no longer discern her genuine thoughts and feelings from the carefully constructed persona she presented to the world. She questioned her own memories, wondering if she'd always been this way, or if the deception had fundamentally altered her. Her academic achievements, once a source of pride, now felt like shackles, binding her to a lie. She started to doubt her own judgment, her own capacity for genuine emotion. The line between Elara Vance, the brilliant student, and Elara Vance, the cheat, blurred into an indistinguishable, unsettling gray. The gilded cage of her perfection had become a prison, built by her own hands. The final weeks of senior year arrived, bringing with them a torrent of final exams, culminating projects, and scholarship acceptance letters. Elara's academic record was pristine, securing her acceptance to her dream university with the full scholarship. Outwardly, she had achieved everything she ever wanted. Internally, however, she was a wreck. Her sleep was perpetually disturbed by nightmares of exposure. Her intricate hairstyles, once a symbol of control, now felt like a burden, another layer of her suffocating facade. She experienced moments of intense paranoia, believing that every teacher, every classmate knew her secret. Liam, who had also excelled, was often in the same study areas as Elara. His quiet presence was a constant, unsettling reminder. He didn't confront her, but his mere existence, his unblemished integrity, served as a mirror reflecting her own compromised self. She could feel his gaze, even when she didn't look up, a silent accusation in the air. The penultimate final exam was a notoriously difficult calculus test, known for its challenging problems and strict proctoring. Elara had studied diligently, but a deep-seated fear of imperfection, coupled with the cumulative stress of her deception, made her doubt her own abilities. During the exam, the proctor was momentarily distracted, called away to address an issue at the front of the room. For a brief, agonizing moment, a classmate's open textbook containing the exact solution to a particularly challenging problem Elara was struggling with was perfectly visible on their desk. The opportunity was undeniable, risk-free, and immediate. Elara's heart pounded. Her eyes darted from her blank page to the textbook. The phantom ache returned with full force, amplified by the culmination of all her previous deceptions. She saw the long line of shredded confession letters in her mind's eye. She heard Liam's quiet voice, remembered the scholarship interview. The desire for the perfect score warred with a sudden, desperate longing for genuine integrity, for a moment of true self-respect. After what felt like an eternity, but was only a few seconds, Elara slowly, deliberately averted her gaze from the textbook. She closed her eyes, took a shaky breath, and returned to her own paper. She didn't look at the solution. She made a choice, not to cheat. She didn't ace the problem, or even the exam. Her score was good, but not perfect. The immediate relief of not cheating was quickly replaced by a profound sense of exhaustion and a chilling realization. The internal battle itself had left her profoundly shaken. The choice felt less like a triumph and more like a desperate, last-ditch effort to salvage a fragment of her soul, a battle she barely won, and one that cost her dearly in emotional currency. She understood in that moment that the scars of her past deceptions run deeper than any single act of honesty can heal. Weeks later, the graduation ceremony unfolded under a brilliant, indifferent sun. The air was thick with anticipation, the buzz of proud parents, and the excited chatter of students. Elara, resplendent in her cap and gown, was announced as the valedictorian. She walked across the stage to thunderous applause, accepting her diploma with a practiced, serene smile. She delivered her valedictorian speech, a carefully crafted address about hard work, perseverance, and the journey of self-discovery, her voice steady, her eyes shining with what appeared to be triumph. As she spoke, Her internal monologue was a stark contrast to her outward performance. Each word of praise felt like a lie. The applause was a hollow echo. She felt utterly disconnected from the joyous celebration, a ghost moving through a vibrant scene. The victory she had achieved felt utterly, profoundly hollow. As she descended from the stage, her eyes scanned the sea of faces. She spotted Liam Chen in the crowd, his gaze meeting hers. There was no accusation in his eyes, only a quiet understanding, a flicker of the old friendship, and perhaps a touch of sadness. For a fleeting, agonizing moment, a powerful urge washed over Elara. The words of confession, the truth of her journey, rose to her throat, desperate to be spoken. She imagined walking directly to him, telling him everything, shedding the unbearable weight of her secret. The thought was intoxicating, terrifying. But the words caught. They snagged on the intricate web of lies she had woven, on the fear of shattering her perfect image, on the ingrained habit of self-preservation. Her throat tightened, her jaw clenched. She cannot speak them. The moment passes. Liam offered a small, almost imperceptible nod, then turned away. Elara realized with a chilling certainty that she cannot confess, not to him, not to anyone. Elara graduated at the top of her class, achieving every single academic goal she set for herself. She had the scholarship, the university acceptance, the accolades. Yet the victory was utterly devoid of joy. The sense of isolation she experienced earlier had intensified, becoming a permanent state. She attended the post-graduation celebration, moving through it like a phantom. She saw her parents beaming with pride, but their praise felt like a heavy burden. She looked at her reflection later that night, her intricate hairstyle still perfectly intact, and saw not a triumphant graduate, but a stranger. Elara understood with a profound and devastating clarity that while she achieved external success, she had permanently fractured her internal trust. The constant deception, the ritualistic self-absolution, had eroded her capacity for genuine self-knowledge, and consequently, her ability to truly trust anyone else. She could never truly be vulnerable, never truly share her deepest truths, because she had trained herself to lie, even to herself. The phantom ache had become a chronic, incurable pain. Elara would go on to university, undoubtedly excel, and achieve more external successes. But the story ends with her sitting alone, perhaps in her empty childhood bedroom, clutching her diploma. The gilded frame reflected her face, a mask of quiet melancholy. She had won the game, but lost herself in the process. The cage of perfection, once a symbol of her ambition, was now a permanent, self-imposed prison, its bars forged from her own lies. She had everything she thought she wanted, but she was utterly alone, forever haunted by the chilling understanding that she could never trust anyone, especially herself, with her deepest truths. The cost of her perfection was her soul, and the prices paid in perpetual, profound isolation.